Greetings everyone, good morning, good afternoon and good evening depending on wherever you're located, and welcome again to this new video. In this one, I would like us to discuss something that often happens with customers and software developers, which is the misunderstanding on how the resources must be handled or how the resources must be kept. So in many occasions, I've had clients coming to me and complaining that they actually have an issue with a former developer and they want the developer to handle them over their source code or their domain name, and which is becoming impossible. I remember quite some time ago, about 2 years or 3 years ago, this lady came to me and needed me to update a website, and it wasn't that easy to get back the domain name because the developer who was working with her then actually left her with an uncompleted website, and then he was handling the hosting and then the domain name of the lady. So once he left the lady, he ran away with all these things. Not running away per se, but because he was still in touch with the lady, but they weren't that cool again, that much cool. So it became a challenge for the lady to recover her domain name and then a hosting package. So at some point, the website stood there to that till the hosting package expired, and the domain name, we needed to transfer it to my side. Went after this guy for more than a year, trying to transfer that domain name with the guy. Sometimes I would request for the transfer, the guy will not transfer. First of all, to get the transfer code, it took so long, and then once we got the transfer code, we requested for transfer for him to approve the transfer. He never did. So we stood behind that guy for more than a year to try to recover the domain name. And some other cases too I've met is you meet the developer, you meet the client. The client wants you to continue working on their project, or they even want you to rebuild a different application for them. But unfortunately, the former developer would hijack. Or sometimes it happens when they actually require for updates or changes, something like that. So the former developer will hijack the source code or hijack the entire server with the whole website. So what the client gets actually at the end is just visiting his website. He has no clue of where his domain name is, where his hosting package is, where his source code is. He has no clue. So the client just has the interface of their website when they visit it, and that's all. So these are main challenges most clients have with software developers, and I want customers to understand, clients to understand that when you are ordering an application like that, when you are requesting for a software or a website of such, you need to have two main things agreed upon between you and the developer. The first one is you need to agree on the non-disclosure of your information. So you have to sign an NDA, okay, non-disclosure agreement. You should always come up with something to protect your idea, because you are actually submitting an idea to a developer. So always try to protect your idea, especially when your idea is unique and S-type. When your idea is kind of original, let's say it that way. When you think your idea is original, so let's assume you want an e-commerce website, there's no, unless you have some algorithm and some formula inside that is very, very unique. So for an e-commerce website, it's a general thing, so non-disclosure is not really a big deal. But for formality purposes, you should always try to get a non-disclosure agreement. And the second agreement you must have with the developer is how the resources are managed, or in general we call them the deliverables. So how the deliverables are going to be managed, which is once the developer finishes, your images, your text, your source code, and your hosting and domain names, how are they going to be handled? To me, in my case, I've always had that habit of always handling it over to the customers, or even if I know the customer cannot even understand what it is all about, I always keep it somewhere there, and I make the client understand anytime you need anything, get in touch with me. Anytime you want, if you have a new developer, let him call me and I give him whatever they want. So always have a clear and agreement on that. How are your deliverables managed? In normal situations, a software developer is supposed to send you back or always update you with the latest resources out of your project, because you paid for it. You paid for him to produce it. The only thing he, as a developer, he or she can have in your project is the possibility of assessing your resources, the possibility of assessing your source code and knowing your logic, your source code logic. Apart from that, the source code is like 80% yours and 20% for the developer. The reason why I'm saying that is the developer, knowing your project, how it is structured, he might also use this same structure for another project, because that is almost impossible to distinguish or to prevent unless the project is so huge that you cannot reproduce it easily. But one thing is sure, the developer doing some work for you would have the same possibility. I will have the possibility of reusing part or the entire project for another project, but probably in a different version. So your agreement should prevent the developer from taking the exact thing and then making the exact project for somebody else. So that's the 20% the developer has. So the 80% you have should prevent the developer from reproducing your exact project for somebody else. So you shouldn't have duplicate website, but he can use the code or parts of the code to do something else and work on another project. In fact, it will be almost impossible to stop them from doing that too. That's why you always have to have this clear mind, this stated properly, so that it is well for you. So what I advise to developers is, guys, don't hold the client, don't hijack the client by holding his domain name, holding his hosting, or holding their source code. Sometimes the developer will ask the guy, okay, we need the source code. Okay, yeah, you'll be there on wasting time. Come on. This work is so stressful already. So come on, just give it out and have peace and move on to the new client, because you do that, when are you going to end? If you want to stay with the customer, treat him well, treat the client very well, and then after the conception of the project, sign a contract of maintenance, or a contract of maintenance, and for maybe 1 year or 2, and renewable, so that the client can always be with you. But at the day the client say, I don't think we can continue this work, I don't like how you do things, probably just be okay. Give it to the client and give them time. It's as simple as that. So there's no need in you forcing the client to be with you, by using all sorts of strategies and tricks to make sure the client always comes with you. And some of these cases I meet is that when they hijack the client, from time to time they will shut down the client's website, and the client will be like, what is going on? The website is up. They will be like, oh, you need to pay something, and so then kind of ransom developer, ransomwareness, this kind of behavior where please, there are so many opportunities out there, and I believe if you try to focus on new opportunities, you make it more than just hijacking the customer. And the reason why one of the main reasons why I don't like that is because honestly it does not promote development, both for you, the developer, and the client, because the client will not be free to innovate. The client will not be free to improve their project or whatever dream they have to pursue that dream. And you, at the other side, you are always there worried about your strategies and of keeping the developer. Meanwhile, if you are moving to the next client and so on, you gain more experience, you gain more connections and so on. So I believe we should be flexible with each other. Clients be flexible with the developer be flexible with the clients. So with these 2 points mentioned for the client, always pay attention to that whenever you are requesting for a job from a software developer. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this point, please give it a thumb up, leave a comment, or add up your own opinion on how things are done. Share your experience with us. Have you ever encountered such situation, both as a client or as a software developer? and let us know and let us share our experiences and then help this field improve. Thank you so much and see you in my next video.